Well, one of the industry leaders in virtual reality is HTC, which currently has a top-selling VR headset called Vive, as well as the VR app store called Viveport. Mark caught up with Viveport's president, Rikard Steiber, at the XTech conference. He began by asking Steiber if he thought virtual reality had failed to live up to the hype.
No, I don't agree with that. I think that we're still in year one. So actually we launched the Vive less than a year ago. And I think we've seen enormous progress. One of the most exciting things for us is the developers. We have over 1,400 titles on the Vive platform today, which has been created in less than a year, which is kind of amazing. Most of them are actually independents. So I think this year is when we'll see the more AAA titles, the more sort of polished productions coming out. I think that what's happening is that, of course, this is the most immersive experience. You need a high-end PC today to work. But I think as the PC performance goes up and the software is getting optimized, and also consumers are starting to see the value because more and more content is coming up, I do think that we're sort of in the beginning of something that will be a mass adoption very soon.
Many industry insiders say not enough people have actually tried virtual reality.
It's a marketing problem. It's like Neo in the Matrix. You know, you sit there in front of Morpheus and he says you can't really explain the Matrix. You actually have to take the pill, run down the rabbit hole and experience it. So it's an experiential media. And I think what's happening now is that not only is it becoming available at demos like shows like this, but actually we're in 1,000 locations in China for VR arcades. We're doing pilots with IMAX and other players. And even if you're going to buy a car now, you'll build your car in VR. You're going to go to IKEA, you're going to build your kitchen in VR. So VR is becoming much more sort of easily available to everyone, and I think then they'll see the value because it's kind of hard to think about it.
I saw that an Epic Games CEO said that out of the two main players that you were outselling Oculus 2-1. Is that true in your opinion, or can you give us any insight on how well sales are doing for HTC Vive?
Yeah, I can say that we're very happy. We're growing really well. I think that most analysts are saying that we're ahead of competition. I couldn't comment on their sales clearly, and we don't release sales figure either. I do think that VR had sort of a good hype last year, so people are becoming aware. People are testing it. So I do think that this year it's going to increase quite dramatically.
What are HTC's plans for virtual reality development in the China market?
I'm super excited about China because I think China is kind of leading the way in many instances when it comes to virtual reality. So I think that we have a really growing creative developer audience in China. So we're very proud of that. And I think what we want to do with the Viveport is to bring them internationally. We also see a lot of creativity. Of course, it's the world's largest smartphone market. So of course, mobile VR will be very, very important there. We also see that VR in public spaces like arcades is growing really quickly there, which I think will be a really important market for developers to build their brand and monetize their content. So we're going to China end of this month, so we have this virtual reality technology sort of ecosystem conference in Shenzhen, where we're bringing together startups, the leading technology companies, the developers, to basically look into the future of virtual reality.
You've been quoted as saying at some point people outside of the VR industry, will be driving the technology.
Yeah, so today, you have technology companies putting out technology there, and then, it's like a magical wand. You can do all kinds of things with it. So if you are an architect today, or if you're a designer, of course, designing things on a 2D screen, which is 3D, doesn't make any sense. Of course, you want to do it in 3D. Because it's much more natural. So we're giving them the technology to do it. However, very soon, the architects, the designers, the educators, they will tell us what they need to better educate, to better create things, to tell stories in new ways. So it's kind of technology driven today, but very soon I think we'll turn around that, the storytellers will tell what is it that they require to create better immersive stories.
What sectors excite you most about the potential for VR to change them?
So I'm very passionate about education. I have two young girls, and I spend so much time on homework and trying to get them to learn and get them excited and curious. And I see when they go into virtual reality, when they go underwater, when they go to the planet Mars or the moon, when they go back and look at dinosaurs, I can see how excited they are. But I also see how much they learn, how much they remember, because it has a much more immersive experience. So I think if it's math, or if it is history or geography or any subject, which is sometimes not as exciting, I do think that you can educate in new ways. And I think It's not just kids' school; it's language. My kids are trying to learn Chinese. It's very hard. I think that virtual reality could be a mean for that. It is at work, training our workforces to work. It doesn't matter if it's selling cars or IKEA furniture or being working with NASA on the next sort of engine. So I do think that the medium has great potential for education. That's what I'm most excited about.